such thing as a stupid question. A lot of teachers say there's no such thing as stupid questions. I think one version of a stupid question is a question I just answered and you weren't listening. That's one version of a stupid question. But we are going to go on to the thread that's called No Stupid Questions on Reddit. And we will be the judge of this, if the question is stupid or not. Okay. Before we get into it, you know the drill, you know the deal. We gotta do channel minutes, channel hygiene, channels are Tamagotchis. So, if you're new here, welcome to my nonsense. If you're old here, welcome back. Oh geez, if you're new here, please consider hitting subscribe. And if you're old here, go double check, make sure you're subscribed. Hit the like if you like. Leave a comment. It could be anything related to the video. It could just be a hello, a few emojis, whatever, as long as it's cool and respectful. Hit the notification bell. As always, I've linked my tip jars down yonder in the description box. No pressure whatsoever, but every $1 or $2 helps. That is what allows me to continue to make content. Also, you are invited to my Patreon. I know, not everybody can come, but you can't say you weren't invited. The link to my Patreon is down below, and I post a lot over there. If you want extra content, but you don't want to leave this platform, you can join YouTube memberships by clicking join below or going to my channel page and clicking the join button. That is content that is exclusive to YouTube members. Okay. If I spent $5,000 on my Steam or Kindle library, why can't I legally leave it to my children in my will? Uh-oh, I got a sneeze coming. Okay. That was like 3 or 4. I recently went down the rabbit hole of buying versus licensing digital goods, and I hit a wall that I can't quite wrap my head around. If I spent 20 years building a physical library of books, DVDs, and vinyl records, I could pass that physical wealth on to my kids. It is a transferable asset. But if I spend that same money building a massive Steam game library or a Kindle book collection, the terms of service usually and pretty much universally say the account is non-transferable and legally dies with me. If digital goods cost the same as physical ones, why does the value evaporate the moment I die? Because that's their loophole. Why wouldn't it? Has anyone actually tested this in major court? Or are we just in a legal gray area until the first generation of steam whales starts passing away and their families challenge the terms of service? Somebody said just give them their password, who will know? Probably this is the reality of what is and what will happen until such time that enforcement catches up. Sometime in the future, this is weird. The Steam account is 160 years old. The man must be eating really healthy and doing a lot of exercise. Right, maybe they'll just cancel out after 100 years. Like, there's no way this person could still be alive, so. This is going to be my dad. He has like 600 Steam games, and you got me amped up if you think I'm making my own account. Yeah, that is kind of tragic. You spend your whole life building this library. If your kids are into that stuff, you know, if they weren't, they could still sell it. But they're not ever technically yours. They're still kind of rented. Okay, let's find another one with a lot. Okay, how are women going commando? A genuine question from a 19-year-old girl. How are women leaving their homes without underwear on? I'm not trying to be funny. I have always wondered this. No shade, though. Let her breathe, girl. I mentally file this together with women who are able to take off their flats without their feet ever smelling, and women who don't have to shave their legs often. The same women who can go braless without under-boob sweat. They're just better than me. I don't go commando in hard pants. That's the thing. You can never, like, jeans, dress pants, no. Sweats, if you're gonna wash them every time, whatever. Only sweatpants or other flowy pants, like pajama shorts, you know, stuff like that. I second that, what everyone is saying. Yeah, I don't want to get into TMI. There's a TMI warning. locked up? What if you went to prison? Are you just going to spend eternity in prison? You have a person who doesn't age and can't die, assuming the world is otherwise exactly like ours. How would someone like that maintain a normal legal identity over many, many years? Things like driver's licenses, passports, social security, national ID numbers, banking and credit history. The way that's generally handled in movies is to manufacture a fake relative and then die and have them inherit every few decades. Move every 10 to 20 years so no one notices you aren't aging. This might get harder to pull off as record keeping improves, but with enough money, you can pull it off. I've never thought too hard about that, but I've been reading more vampire books, so I probably will be coming across how that works more as I continue to travel into the fantasy vampire novel kind of sad. Would it be a bad idea to consider putting my cats up for adoption? My two extremely unaffectionate cats have basically broken my spirit and my love for them. I've now had 2 cats for nearly 2 years now. I got both of them when they were 4 to 5 months old, both brothers from the same litter. See, I heard that's the problem. Gotta get 2 separate. You would think that would be the best way to do it, but I heard that's the problem. Since I had them, I enjoyed everything about them, but they never adapted to being around me at all. They seem terrified of me unless it's dinner time when I prepare their wet food. And then it's 5 minutes of screaming meows, and then they're back to hiding. They're absolutely obsessed with each other and always with the other one, but if I happen to walk into a room, both suddenly jump up, look around nervous, and sprint away into hiding. 2 years of them living with me, held each one once, and one when I adopted them, and another was after I got them to the vet to be neutered. I've honestly lost almost all affection to them now. I try to play with them, and maybe 2 out of 10 times they'll actually come out of hiding and swat a feather around for a few minutes, and then they go away. I honestly don't think I can keep them much longer. It brings me joy that they're safe and fed, but other than that, I don't care much about them anymore because they don't care about me. I honestly feel a small amount of rage whenever I see other people post their cats they got one day ago, and they're absolute snuggle bugs and friendly and adventurous. Has anyone else had cats like this that eventually changed? They're turning 2 very soon, and I'm not sure if it's a maturity thing or not. I mean, if they're safe and they're fed, but the thing is, cats last like 20 years, right? This sounds like a bonded pair. They meet all their affectionate needs through each other. You are the weird ape providing food. It's like marriage to a twin. You are not number 1. I would ask the cat forums or behavioral expert its unique thing to observe and can offer its own reward, like having a dog pack over a single dog. But if you put them up, please make sure they stay together. Breaking them up could break their hearts. I got a sibling set of kittens, and this was my experience as well. It wasn't until they were 5 years old that they started regularly coming to me for affection. It took a lot of work with brushing and treats, but honestly, they just really need time to mature and mellow out, so there's still hope. Make the living room a fun hangout, add some wall climbing stuff, cat trees, scratching boxes with catnip. This is the room with the stuff, and you are in there too. I like watching old episodes of My Cat from Hell. I remember that show. That's the original This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things, right? That's where that came about. There are a lot of good ideas from there. This is fascinating to me. I'm not a cat person, but I became one by accident, so I know nothing about cats. Last year I took in a stray when he was a kitten, but his brother wanted to stay outside, so we bought him a heated house and feed him. They hate each other. It is really interesting how different cats are. I'm learning so much. They hate each other. They are not a bonded pair. In fact, the one that wanted to come inside was probably like, please, I don't want to be out here with him anymore. What do office workers actually do on Excel all day? I saw a meme about it the other day, and all the comments were some variation of I love staring at Excel for 10 hours a day, or I'm staring at spreadsheets all day. But what are they actually doing? What task requires just working on spreadsheets all day? What the hell is on those spreadsheets? Do tell. Much of my job involves taking the data, multiple spreadsheets, and sourcing and using it to complete a project that's status is tracked on another spreadsheet. This sounds incredibly awful. I have seen some people with their spreadsheets to keep track of their spreadsheets. It's rough out here. It sounds like it. I don't want this particular job. There's a certain point where you need to learn how to use databases, but some companies just down to want that. That doesn't make sense. Is Mr. Potato Head black? Somebody said he's a potato. And the next comment is such a tomato thing to say. Oh my god. You can't just assume someone is a tomato. I know a fruit when I see one. Okay. Is Steve Harvey a potato? Because Mr. Potato Head does resemble Steve Harvey. It's the mustache. Is that mustache even real? My dog is growling. You're not hard. Better not bark. Better not bark. I'm gonna let him out. Not a stupid question. This is a pretty good question. Why aren't Mexican buffets as common as Chinese buffets? As a matter of fact, I don't ever think I've seen a Mexican buffet. I have, but they're not common. My local cheap monster Chinese buffet has a Mexican section with 20 Mexican dishes. Okay, that's interesting. Other than that, you're right. Maybe CN food. Oh, Chinese food. What sauces, meat, veg mixtures over rice noodles lends itself better to the buffet style? I mean, how would you do, like, it's almost like you could do walking tacos, but that's not really Mexican. I don't know. A friend took me to a Chinese lunch buffet place in Pittsburgh once. Oh my god, they had everything Chinese food, fried chicken, pizza, sliced beef, and mashed potatoes, you name it, it was there. I love a buffet that just has everything, and a lot of people think buffets are gross, and I probably agree, but you really have to just shut your brain up about that and eat. I haven't been to a buffet in like at least probably 2 years. And I don't think they're very cheap anymore. Like, is our Golden Corral still going? It has to be. I just don't know who goes there. El Torito used to do them in the 1990s. It was free at happy hour. It provided free dinner for thousands of poor, starving college kids. That's crazy, and I love that. And it sounds like they still do it on Sundays. The one I remember was pretty much every weeknight. And even to me, as a college student, I thought the food was very low quality. Okay, I don't want to hear any complaints about a free buffet. A big step down from what you would order if you sat down. Okay, yeah, like buffet, the stuff that they throw out in the buffet is not the same quality of if you order a plate. And I don't know how they manage to separate the two, but they do. Okay, this is a good question. What is up with Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo being so emotional in every interview I see? I think it's either some form of delusion or chemical imbalance. Seriously, I'm just curious if there's any reason for it. They're always crying and always seem emotional around each other. What the F is going on with them during filming of Wicked to make them act like this? Okay, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say maybe they don't look healthy, right? And when your body is in a state of what their bodies are probably feeling like stereotypical acne face teenager. I work at a high school. It's still not, there's plenty. Okay. I was told that acne was a normal part of growing up and hormonal changes were the cause, yet I cannot remember the last time I saw a teenager with acne. Well, they're covering it up with the little stickers too, so. My wife works as a high school teacher and pointed this out to me. I don't live in the West, and people certainly aren't using expensive skincare products. How did acne stop being a problem if it is a normal biological process? Okay, comment. Lots of teens still have some acne, but those with loads or uncomfortable acne can get dermatological care these days and not have to deal with that. And they don't have to burn their face off with Proactive. I remember my brother had Proactive. I didn't use it. I'm like more of a big zit girl than a multi-zit girl. And I would get a huge one, like right in the middle of my nose, and it would last weeks. But I didn't get like breakouts. It was always one at a time. A big shiner somewhere. And I think the teens are more into skincare now, so just like the normal face washing. Also, you gotta think, it's clean girl season, so a lot of the girls aren't wearing foundation every day. I don't know, I can think of several things that might. Importantly, a lot of stuff I used for clinical acne as a teen is now available over the counter. Working all the way up to Accutane as a teen required months of testing different, less aggressive prescription stuff and tons of appointments. I imagine now that barrier is largely gone. It is still normal, but skincare is a hell of a lot better than when I was young. I never had bad acne even as a teen. I just remember our standard skincare were apricot shards scrub and alcohol toner. If it doesn't sting, it doesn't work. Oh yeah, we had the what was that? What is the name of it? It was apricot scrub from, there was like a mountain background. I don't know. I mean, it was facial exfoliator. They say it's terrible. Was it really terrible?